Hi, it's Ellen Dudley with Keller Williams Realty. I'm here today for another exciting interview with my friend Beth Aarons. Beth is a mediator and collaborative law attorney with a focus on family law and trusts and estates. Hi, Beth, how are you?
Hey, Ellen, how are you? I'm good, thank you.
I'm great. Thank you for joining me today. I wanted to start our conversation by talking about graduation season. Uh, Lots of kids turning 18 these days, and what do they need to know? What do their families need to know? What advice can you give?
Well, for many families, even when their kids graduate high school and turn 18, they're still thought about as kids, but technically they're adults. And so one thing that I talk to families about is as they go off to college, to think about having a healthcare proxy and a power of attorney in place. And those are legal documents that are usually part of an estate plan. But what it does is it lets the parents be able to speak with the school authority and the school nurse or other medical professionals on campus if something happens to their now adult child while they're away at college. Because the school, under the HIPAA laws, really can't disclose information to third parties without the child's permission. And if the child is in a situation where, they're either extremely ill or even, heaven forbid, if they're in a coma or something tragic like that, the school can't reach out because they would not be able to get permission. So a healthcare proxy is a quick way to ensure that the school can have the ability to contact parents. I have had conversations with some families with kids going off to college, and some schools do provide documentation like that. And so just to make sure that it covers all the bases that the family wants in place, and that's for healthcare decisions. And then for powers of attorney, that's another document, and that has to do with access to accounts in the event that the child's, say, studying abroad or in another state going to school, and they need something to happen with their account, but now they're legally an adult, and if they have their own checking or saving or investing, whatever kind of account, the parents can't just go in and move money for the child or do anything for the child because they're, not a co-owner of the account. So the power of attorney lets the parents do that while the child's away. And it's another document that can be easily put in place before the child goes away to school. So these are some of the things I talk to families about making decisions about putting in place as part of their getting ready for college.
Okay, great. So those are two documents. Do they need a will at this time?
You can have a will in Massachusetts once you turn 18. It doesn't mean that everyone needs one. That's probably more family specific, client specific as to whether it's a good idea. However, it is a good idea for the parents to take another look at their estate plan and see if it still does what they want it to do, and just to review that every few years. And because college and having children who are now adults is a big transition stage, that makes it a good triggering event to take another look at their own estate plans.
Yeah, and now in our new normal, if somebody wants to execute those types of documents, what's the best way for them to go ahead and do that?
Sure, that's a really good question, because for so many people, some people are high risk and just don't want to have in-person meetings. And just speaking for myself, I'm still working virtually right now and probably for the foreseeable future. So some clients have had success taking their documents and making appointments at banks to execute them. I'm also hosting drive-through will signings. So I'll have clients who want to remain in their cars, and they will come and all the signing is done with them staying in their cars in the parking lot, but I provide the witnesses that way. There is legislation to allow for remote signings. I have not done those yet because in many cases that still requires the client to make a trip to the post office, and some clients want to have their original documents with them immediately and not be without the originals for a few weeks while there's turnaround time. So I found that the drive-through signings have really been the fastest, most effective way to do it for those clients who feel comfortable doing that.
Okay, great. So once you have these documents, the healthcare proxy, the power of attorney, and potentially a will, do you just hold on to them until they're needed in your own home, or do you have to file them with your child's college or your local PCP? What do you do with these documents once they're executed?
So that depends on the document. For the healthcare proxies, yes, I usually advise that they either check with the college to see if they can file it with the college, file it with the primary care physician's office, and share it with whoever's named as an agent on there. So for many college kids, it's just their parents, but on occasion I'll have a family that has an alternate, like another relative maybe, an aunt or uncle, or even maybe an older sibling, just in case the parents aren't reachable. So I do recommend that the healthcare proxy copy is given to those people, just so that everyone has that information, and if they need it in an emergency, it's right there, and they can have it to show that they have the authority. For the wills and powers of attorney, I generally recommend that those are kept in a safe place, that is the originals, and usually to have copies not shared, just because it can be difficult if there are copies floating around. But it does depend on the situation. I have had some clients who really do want to share copies of those, and it's up to the client. But I talk about with clients, what the various options are and what the potential implications are, so they can make an informed decision.
Okay, excellent. Well, Beth, I really appreciate your advice, your expertise. It's always great to speak with an attorney who can shed light on these kinds of issues. And if anyone would like to reach out to Beth, her contact information will be at the end of this video. So stay tuned. And again, I thank you so much, Beth, for being here today.
Well, thank you very much, Ellen, for having me, and hope information is helpful to families.
Oh, it most definitely is. Thank you. Talk to you soon.
Bye.
Bye.